Hi everyone, my name is Mark Quinn. I'm a cross-border tax advisor and financial planner based in Portugal. I've been an expat here myself, coming up to 8 years, and during that time I've helped expats from all over the world relocate here to Portugal. And in this video I'm going to cover briefly something I'm asked a lot about, and that's pension options, and especially for those of you coming from the UK, what do I do with my pension? So the first issue is whether we should actually consider transferring at all, because if we look at tax, and I say largely neutral there, it is largely neutral, certainly from an income tax point of view. If you have a pension scheme in the UK or based overseas, you're going to be paying the same amount of income tax. I've just got to note there that if you are a non-habitual resident, then you will need advice for the 10-year point onwards, and we can guide you on how to structure your affairs so that you remain tax efficient even beyond that 10-year point. And the third point there is that if we consider tax-free cash, what it was known as, it's now known as pension commencement lump sum. It's the 25% tax-free amount you're entitled to from your pension. That doesn't exist when you become a Portuguese tax resident. So just consider the timing of taking your benefits if you are taking money from a pension scheme. The next slide is in respect of a tax that isn't neutral. So this is one that would change if you move your pension scheme out of the UK. So this is the lifetime allowance, and that's the upper ceiling that we're all allowed to have inside of our pension schemes. And at the moment it's just over 1 million. So what I'm trying to illustrate there is that any growth in excess of that value over time will be taxable, and I put a fictional amount there of 1.6 million. So if we assume that your pension scheme reach that level in the future, you're looking at a tax charge of up to 289,000 worst case scenario, and that's only going to get worse because we expect markets to continue to grow long term, whereas the lifetime allowance is actually frozen at the moment, so the gap continues to widen. Again, if you transfer your pension scheme out of the UK, the lifetime allowance ceases to apply. I put a note on there about double taxation treaty changes. We've seen some changes occurring to the Swedish treaty and the Finnish treaty, and that's in response to the non-habitual residence scheme here. So it's not been popular because it's allowed Finnish pensioners and Swedish pensioners to come here and live tax-free, or certainly reduced tax rates. And as a consequence, Finland and Sweden have enacted changes at their end so as to nullify the benefits of the non-habitual scheme for Swedish and Finnish citizens. And the concern is that the UK may ultimately respond with similar measures further down the line, which means tax at source in the UK before it's sent to Portugal. And again, by moving your pension scheme outside of the UK, you're protecting yourself against that eventuality. The next issue to consider is currency volatility. So if you have a pension scheme in the UK, it's going to be denominated in sterling. If you're then converting that sterling amount over time into euros to spend here in Portugal, then obviously you're subject to the volatility of the pound-euro rate. And I've just looked at the rate over the last 20 years or so, and you can see it's been quite volatile. Certainly over the last few years, we've been in a relatively narrow range, but even then the gyrations have been in the order of 12% up and down. And then if we go back to the Brexit referendum back in 2016, the rate has actually declined by about 25%. So just be cognizant of that and realise that if you do transfer to an overseas scheme, you are able to denominate in euros and mitigate that ongoing risk. The other issue to consider is, especially if you have several schemes in the UK, is the possibility of consolidating the schemes into one, either in the UK or into an overseas scheme. And in doing so, providers are incentivising you to have one large pot by giving you large fund discounts so you can get more efficient. You're also able to take advantage of more modern pension scheme options with more flexibility and choice, and also greater fund choice and options. So if you do decide to look at overseas pensions options, then our job is really to guide you on where to hold the pension scheme firstly. So Portugal doesn't have a qualifying recognised overseas pension scheme. So we're guiding you on where in the world to hold that structure. And then you have a pension wrapper, what structure sits inside that pension wrapper, and what fund strategy will you use, and where will they be based as well. And we can guide you through all those steps. So I hope you found this quick overview useful. Please subscribe to the channel, please like the videos, and also share with friends. That would be greatly appreciated. And if you have any specific questions, please comment on the video or send me a message direct. Thank you.